Hello and welcome back to the Thesideescape Gaming Podcast, episode 124. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Ted at Hogwarts because he's a Harry Potter student, Libby.
It's me.
Yeah, you're like at Hogwarts.
I'm at Hogwarts.
It's very
We'll try it
relevant
out.
for
We're
today's
working on the
Near
backdrops.
Hogwarts.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Are you like subscribed to Discord Mega or whatever it's called?
I got a month just to try it out. We'll see how it goes.
Nice. Stay out, guys.
Yeah,
All right,
Ted
Still
got
having
a
fair
month. I
game
gifted him
issues,
a
it's
month.
fine.
Ted gifted it. Ted was gifted, not bought. Okay. Makes
Yeah, I
more
got
sense.
it.
Through the charity of James,
But
I
in-
now have a month of Discord Nitro.
Enough about Discord Nitro because this is the 124th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on youtube.com. And this week it's going to be on Spotify. Because, Ted, after this, we're going to work on that. Okay.
Yeah.
It's President's Day. It's a holy day. We're
Yes.
working on that. Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming related topic and what games we are playing. This week, we're talking about Hogwarts Legacy. WB Avalanche Studios. Is it Avalanche? I think it is Avalanche.
Yeah, it's
Their
Avalanche.
game Hogwarts Legacy. We've all been playing it. We've all got about 10 to 15 hours, somewhere in that range of Hogwarts Legacy. I think I have a pretty good grasp of the game. How do you guys feel about what this game has to offer? Do you think you're not seeing enough?
No, I think
I think
I
I get
understand
it.
the loop.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Me too. I'm pretty getting it. James, I want to start with you as we dive into
Mhm.
Hogwarts. I want you to tell me your hours, what house you are, and what your overall feeling is about the game.
So I'm at about 11 hours, and I am House Slytherin. I think my overall feel is I like the world and the exploration, but I think we touched on this like privately, where the world is good, it's big, but it's very empty, and
Mhm.
like I tried to we always think about these open worlds. Like you and I have probably like had so much discussion and what makes like a good open world game, and it is scale, but it's also things in the world that you run into or discover. And this has a lot of the same things, and not a lot of different things. There'll be a lot of the same plants, minerals, these outpost things, the same enemies. And whereas like if we go to, let's say, a Witcher, there'll be so many different varieties of buildings, so many different varieties of people, enemies, areas. Another great example is Breath of the Wild. Like just
Yep.
different layout. But this is Hogwarts, and it's all the kind of like same terrain, same area. So there's not like biomes, you know. It's not. So it gets a lot of the same. Even though it's big, even though it's vast, it's just that's
Yeah,
that's
we're going
that's
to talk
my,
a
that's my
lot
feel.
about that in a little
Yeah.
bit because I want to really dive into that nature of it. Ted, it's kind of same thing. Your hours, house, what's your first kind of overall thoughts of the first 10, 15 hours?
My hours, my house. I put in 11 hours. I'm
Huh.
a Slytherin, which lines up.
Mhm.
I was originally trying to be evil, but now we'll see about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Doesn't sound like you can be.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it. Being evil as a 16-year-old high school kid is very different than being a murderer.
I would say
Um,
we're probably going to spoil the first 10 hours of this game. I would say that's safe to say that we will
Which-
probably mention story stuff.
which is not a lot in the grand scheme of this game. It is not a lot, so it's not like we're almost
It's very
done with it.
minimal. Yeah.
No, I am really enjoying it. For the most part, I after about 10 hours, I would say you finally get to the point where you're like, I now understand the loop. I have my resources, I have my characters, I have my objectives. This is the game. It takes a while to build up, but now I'd say at about the 10-hour mark, like main story quest wise, is where we're at, and I am excited for it. I am happy
Okay.
about the loop. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it, and I liked what I played so far.
Yeah, so I'm like 15 hours in, maybe right around there. Excuse me. I'm the best house of all time. I'm a Gryffindor, obviously. Come on, great stuff. And I have a very similar feeling to James, where I think the world of Hogwarts is so realized. Like, if you like Harry Potter, you like Hogwarts, you're gonna like just walking around this game because it's just very like abundantly Hogwarts. Then you kind of start to do the activities of the game, and they're all kind of hollow, in my opinion. I feel
Yeah.
like the game, like the activities that you run into are like, we'll talk a lot about it, but like one of them is you get a broom that you can fly around on. And like the main activity to do on your broom, besides going from point A to point B, is to pop balloons with your broom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all you do with the broom, really. And that's like how you get new brooms.
Yeah.
And for me,
Quidditch
it's
is
like you,
canceled this year. They keep telling you
yeah,
that.
fuck. Oh my god! But they still have the whole Quidditch court, James. So isn't that just a slap to your
Yeah.
face?
Well,
You could fly around the
I
whole Quidditch court.
I definitely want to talk about something probably near the end, but it's just something like
Okay.
they've discussed. It doesn't have to do with like the immediate game, but
Yeah.
it's something that's telling like overall, like something as a wrap up. So just when we have go backs, I'm gonna go back to it. I don't want to talk about it now, but yeah,
Yeah.
like the flying and the time trial stuff. Like I guess the time trial stuff isn't too bad, but man, is it like nothing new? Nothing really
No,
like
and-
yeah. Wow,
and you're not
flying
even
through a
racing
ring.
someone.
No, you're not
Yeah.
racing so.
It's like a
Yeah, it would be fun.
like a
It'd be really
Ghost from
fun
the
if you were
Mario game.
racing AI. That'd be great. And he had like
And
little
James,
special
that's-
abilities. You could like Jake. We could
That's-
make a better game.
we can make
We've
a better
talked-
Hogwarts game.
Oh my
But that's
God.
the idea, is like you're racing this girl and like to beat her time.
Yeah,
And there's like
right.
a phantom version
The
of her
shadow.
like on like a dummy. But like that's what Mario Kart's been doing forever. But like you're literally supposed to be racing this girl and you're not.
Yeah,
It's
you're
weird.
not. Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot of fun to this game. I think it's so pretty and it's so freaking Harry Potter.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
walking around the castle and like just how the stairs change on the grand
I love
staircase
that.
is like
I love it.
so cool. The little details.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
the
a
stair animation's
really
great.
brief kind of blurb. The story of the game is you are a fifth-year student who, for some
Mhm.
reason, was called to Hogwarts late. They don't explain why. They don't explain your background. And at that point,
Ever.
you just get to make a
Nope.
character and start basically from your fifth year. But on your way to Hogwarts, a professor comes to pick you up, and some hijinks happens, and you discover that you can see ancient magic, I believe is what it's called.
Yep.
So the main the story, if you will, or the quests of this game are literally like the main quest is figuring out this ancient magic situation, and there's like an evil goblin, which is pretty fun. But then
Yeah.
other than that, it is literally just going to class, learning mechanics, which are the spells, and then kind of like and hanging out with other students, which is the side quests. And that's that is what you do. And a lot of this game, especially the first 10 hours, is it's doing things like go to class, and then you learn a spell, and then you're done with class. And then
It
you
has
and then
this-
you talk to your friend outside of class and do a little like a side questy objective. But that is very much the flow. This is not some kind of epic like end of the Harry Potter series type thing. This is very much like you were just a kid at Hogwarts.
But
Yeah.
so the quest lines and the quest feel has, I don't know, it's just way different than an RPG quest line. Like Jake, you've been playing Witcher a lot recently,
Mhm.
so you understand
Yeah.
like these detailed side quests with little stories and where you go and you fight an enemy and then do something like that. That's great. A lot of these quests though tend to be follow this guy, and then all you're doing is following them to the area where you're gonna fight them. They just walk you to the entrance. Like, why can't I just walk to the entrance? Or
Yeah.
or you'll like,
Yeah.
okay, go over here, use this special move like a couple times. Now you can learn this spell. It is very like MMO type quest. It's not really like an RPG
Right.
style
It-
type quest.
it-
It's very weird.
A lot of the structure around not the main objective of the game, but these side quests is just like they made a very large kind of collectathon of a game. There's a lot of
Right.
collecting and just little
That's what this
one-off.
game is.
Yes,
Yeah, there's a
yes.
little one-off things to do, and a lot of the side quests is a cutscene and a chit chat between two characters, and then you get led to this very basic objective, which you complete easily, and then you just continue doing that. It is not in that like Bethesda or Witcher where like all the side quests are where it's at. Like the side quests here are not deep; they're just excuses for
Yeah.
you to find paintings and
Yeah.
and like little things, little tidbits hidden around the castle. Any of the story stuff is locked behind these two kind of main story quests.
These puzzles are so I'm just gonna say they're so childish. They're so childlike. They're so easy that it's just insulting sometimes. Like,
oh no,
I feel
I love it.
they are way too easy. Like, I want these sort of cave dungeons to be, you know, like Legend of Zelda. Like, I want it to be like a Breath of the Wild type solving. But you go there's like, oh, you're obviously gonna move this platform here. You're gonna obviously go over here. You're gonna
Yep.
search this chest. You're gonna
Yeah.
go over here. You're gonna fight these enemies. You're done. That's it. Exact same loop like 3 or 4 times already.
It is definitely a video game of lowest common denominators. And I think in a sense it is kind of a kid's game, right? Harry Potter
Yeah.
is for kids.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
Is
like,
it
well,
still
because I had that
for
exact same
kids?
experience. There's a pretty hefty kind of main story quest where you go into like a cavern, and I was ready for like, oh, is this like a dungeon? Like, am I gonna have to
Oh,
think about this? And the answer is no.
I love it.
You don't.
no,
It's very
no, you
straightforward.
don't.
It's very straightforward. The puzzle solving aspects are very basic, but I kind of enjoyed that because I'm here for the ride. I didn't. I was actually like, I don't want to sit here and figure this out. Like, I just want to move on to the next thing. I want to learn more spells and be more of a student, and it does that.
It does. Yes, it does. I would say that like it does that, but it feels hollow doing that. Like the
Yeah.
assignments. So you get these side quests from every professor, and like that's how you learn like your spells. And they kind of build it up of like you're going to be since you're late to Hogwarts, missed 4 years of school. You're going to be working alongside these professors like personally. So you're like, oh, cool. I'm going to really get to know each of the professors like in the books, like really know them. And then like the assignments are like for the potions guy, use 2 potions and then
Yeah,
come
you
back
see
and I'm
that
gonna
once.
tell you a new spell. And like there's no like story, there's no like mission with this professor. It's just
Right.
you go into his office after drinking potions and he's like, here's how you do reparo. And you're like, okay. And he's
Yeah.
like, cool, see ya.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I thought we were gonna really dive into who these people were or like
Mhm.
so for
Yeah,
me it's
I
just
wish
like
that was.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say, yeah, hollow, shallow for
mhm,
sure. Um, which I think is a little bit of a bummer, but I also it does a really good job of painting the picture of Hogwarts without writing the book of
yes,
Hogwarts. Like you kind of
I would
just
agree.
get it. You get that the charms professor is going to be kind of a wacky guy, um, and there isn't anything more to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that it for me it wasn't disappointing, but I could totally see like if you wanted a deep, engrossing story, almost like the actual Harry Potter, like a real book.
Mhm.
This is not really that. This is a tour of Hogwarts, not a year of Hogwarts.
That's a great way to put it. This
Yeah,
is a
Yeah, that is a
tour
good one.
of this area. Yeah,
yeah,
not a an in-depth look
yeah.
at it.
Like you're not actually going to class.
Right, right. You aren't ever.
Um, that
Can
being
we
said,
talk
though,
about the spells?
yeah. So I
So
I was
yeah.
about to touch on that. I actually really like the combat in this game. I think it's unique,
Same.
it's innovative, it's interesting, and at the end of the day, it's a lot of fun. The
Mhm.
word fighting game comes up more often than I ever thought it would when talking about a Harry Potter game.
That's
Um,
interesting.
because the quickest rundown is like you get a basic spell, kind of wapow wapow wapow, and then a whole bunch of other spells that all do unique things. So think back to your Harry Potter books. You have the spell that lifts somebody up. You have a spell that brings somebody to you.
Mhm.
You have like a little fire spell. Um, and these are I'm talking about more combat spells in the beginning of the game. But like the way and they even teach you this right at the beginning is like combo these together. Like lift them up, hit them a few times, fling them at you, hit them a few more times, and then hit them with the short ranged fireball shotgun spell.
Fire.
Like
Yeah.
that's a combo. Like and they very much say like this is a combo. Like doing combos will increase kind of your meters. And so playing with these toys is super fun. And there's a lot of spells.
Mhm.
There's like very obvious combat, like shoot a fireball spell, but there's also more interesting ones. There's even like out of combat spells, like the transfiguration stuff. And
Yeah.
playing with these toys and making your combos feels awesome. It feels so much fun.
Yes. And I think the combat kind of how you combo things together, chain things together is very more intricate than I expected it to be.
Hmm.
I thought this was going to be much more button mashy than it is, and like each time you're in a fight, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not fighting a wide variety of enemies, and I think that's kind of an issue too. It's pretty much like poachers and goblins. Um, but you
And
definitely find
spiders.
that sense of rhythm. And spiders, sorry, yeah. I don't
A
go
lot
on
of
the
spiders.
here's the other thing. You guys, I think we talked about our levels, and like I'm only a few hours ahead of you, and I'm like 5 or 6 levels up. And I've realized that I don't walk around the forest at all.
Hmm.
I just go to
Oh,
like point A to point B on the broom because
yeah.
I don't think the game incentivizes me enough to walk around the forest aimlessly.
Hmm.
No.
I don't feel like my
Uh,
exploration time is
so
is
it does
incentivized.
in when you come to Hogwarts, you get the Hogwarts handbook, which is your collectathon. It is tracking all of these
Yeah.
different things you can collect and all these things you can do. And the challenges, if you look dig into the challenges, the combat challenges will provide a lot of like you need to kill 20 spiders. And then every time you do a combat encounter with an enemy, you get a pseudo random like do this specific thing, like,
Yeah.
keep two enemies levitated at the same time.
Yeah.
or like hit an enemy with a fireball and then a frostball or something like, and so those are two different challenges you can be knocking out. So I spent a good hour and a half. Also, you get rewards for them.
Yeah.
You get little cosmetics. So I spent a good long time just running around the forest, just knocking out duelist spells and having fun with the combat. Didn't need to,
very
but
cool.
just having a lot of fun with. Like I was like, I want to do this combat, and there are these cool little objectives I get for killing goblins and doing it in an interesting way.
Yeah.
I think the downside to the combat is the spells in themselves, in the sense that to use the spells you have this I think we're all playing on controller because that's just the way you play this game. I'm not gonna play this on mouse and keyboard, but you have this like 4-wheel type spell casting system where you can bind them to your, I'm playing PS5 controller, so it's square, triangle, 0x
Face
OX.
buttons.
Yeah, face buttons with your right trigger. It's not right trigger, R2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
but Xbox. But sometimes you have to use specific spells in certain areas, like especially the dungeons. And so if you don't have the talent tree leveled up to have multiple spell wheels, you're just swapping in spells like all the fucking time, and it's the most annoying shit because you have so many spells. What they should have done is had it so whenever you approach these certain platforms, it just automatically does the fucking spell like it does for when you unlock a door. And I don't get why they didn't do that. Yeah, because it is so cumbersome to have like a combat spell wheel, feeding your pet spell wheel of like all these. There's way too many of these.
Yeah,
it
definitely is a little clunky. I actually don't hate it in that I have my combat spell wheel, my exploring spell wheel.
But you have to get those talents.
Yeah,
that's annoying.
Yes, I
got
those right away.
And I have to get them, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't want to have to be
maybe
forced
this is
to
a good
get this.
time to dig into it because I actually think the talent system is very weak.
Yeah,
it sucks.
It's not good. It's not good, as you mentioned, because there are things that you kind of just need to make the game halfway decent.
Function.
The two combat
quality of life.
Yeah, the two combat, which is kind of the like normal magic and then dark magic. Those are fun. Those are just kind of two different ways to edit your play. They're basic, but they're interesting.
But they do all the same thing. It's like the first level is like, okay, with your passive spells like Wingardium Leviosa and the one Accio. Both of those like upgrades do the exact same thing.
Right.
Grab a group of people. Then the curses
multiple
do the
people.
exact same thing. Expelliarmus just becomes a curse. So it's not variety. It's just like
it adds. Yeah, you're right. The quote unquote good tree doesn't add variety. The dark tree adds this cursing mechanism, which I thought was interesting. I'm having fun with it. But most of these trees, and there's like your crafting tree, your regular spell tree, they're all just like it does the same thing but better. And so it's kind of on the nose. The one thing I truly hate in this game is stealth.
Oh my god.
The way they do it is stealth is a spell that you trigger on yourself. And I thought, and it makes you look invisible, but mechanically it is basically the same thing as crouching.
It's just crouching.
Yes.
So it's you have to press multiple buttons to crouch, and then crouching in video games, if somebody looks at you directly with their eyes, you get spotted. And it's not
and
it's
you
not
distract
easy.
them.
Yeah, and they say in the kind of tutorial bit, like, oh, if you like cast your spell over here, you can distract someone. You do that for the purposes of the tutorial, and you're like, okay, I get it. But generally speaking, if somebody looks at you, they notice you, and that notice bar goes up fast. And so I was like, okay, this really sucks. Jake, I texted you. I was like, this stealth section, while it's fun to sneak into the restriction section, it's like not a very good thing. But and then the talents unlock, and I thought the talents were going to be like, not only is this like become more invisible and stealthy, but like you get distraction spells, or you get to like mess with the world in a stealthy way. No, the stealth tree is 4 options that is just like people are less likely to see you.
Yeah,
people are even less likely to see you.
Awful.
Yeah,
it's awful. It's a worthless tree.
I do really like that the petrify spell is the solution to the backstab when you're stealthing somebody. Like you can technically walk up to somebody from behind and press X, and then instead of just stabbing them one shot, stealth kill. It's just and they
fall like
they
can of tuna.
I thought that was just really funny and it I'll talk about this point later, but I think it's really funny that they have a stealth kill the same way they do in Assassin's Creed. It's just Harry Potterized, which is fun.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, I thought the talent tree was very weak.
I think what like you're mentioning with the stealth like shows that the game in general, like a lot of the ideas are there.
Hmm.
And then it's the execution that is like kind of meh,
Hmm.
in my opinion. Like I think like with the stealth, like God, the stealth sucks. But like what a clever idea to have Pacificus Totalis be like the kill spell, like to knock
Yep.
him out. Like that's really clever. And like they do that a lot. Like how they use the room of requirement in this game
Hmm.
is
2 thumbs up. Love it.
great. Great.
I like
The
the
room of
requirement.
requirement, which is in Harry Potter, is the room that is magically appears to suit the needs of the person that is looking for the room, basically. And it becomes like your home base where you can customize, put all your like potion tables, your herbology pots, and like where you grow all of your stuff. And like
Your
that's really
pets.
cool. You're oh god, the beast thing I think is like the dumbest thing in this game.
I
I'm gonna
have
go off
not
on it tonight.
I have not gotten to the beast part yet. I think I'm about to go
Oh,
there.
how
Okay,
am I under?
Ted,
I'm like under year 10 and I have beast.
Because I spent a long
I'm
time just wandering around the world, just killing
Yeah.
stuff, and I have a very big inventory because of those side quests.
so Ted, the way that the beast thing works, I'm just going to describe this for you. You get like a similar to Fantastic Beasts, like a way to store beasts, like the
Mhm.
movie. So you can capture them with the briefcase. You feed them and you brush them and stuff. You capture them out in the world. You bring them back to your room of requirement, and there's like a new area that's unlocked in the room of requirement, which is like a grove, and you can like very similar to Sonic the Hedgehog. What was that? Shit, the one where you
Adventure
could have like the
2?
chocobos or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not
Yeah,
joking,
but
but I know
chows.
what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah.
Chows. Yeah.
Chows.
Chows.
So you could have the chows. So you have those. You can dump your, fluffy dinks or whatever into the Hogwarts atrium. But then you can only have 4 species of beasts in the atrium at a time when you first unlock it. And there are many species. So you can't go out and catch them all. You can only catch 4 of them and look at them.
Hmm.
And it's like that's just such like a half step of what would be really cool about this.
Right.
About having like dozens and dozens of animals. Nope, you can have 4 types.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
So that
Yeah.
frustration, I think, is I have 2 big issues, but that is one of the big ones in that Hogwarts Legacy can't ever tell you, like, it can't stop leading you by a leash. It can't let go and be like, okay, go play the game. And like it's really funny. Yesterday I was playing this weird Japanese baseball game. We don't have to get into it, but like I was laughing because like that game is like tutorial. All right, now play the game. And it literally has this like, all right, we're done. Play the game. You've learned how to play. Hogwarts Legacy doesn't ever have like, okay, we're done, play the game. Like it is constantly gating you
Constantly.
yeah, it is
Holding your head.
it is constantly like leading you through these steps from the main quest to the side quest to even just the collectathon, which is a collectathon, instead of just being like collect everything, go out and explore. It's like, okay, we have to limit you. Collect this much,
Yeah.
and then you'll get a little more. And then collect this much, and then you get a little more. And it doesn't know when to just let you experiment,
Right.
which I think is really funny.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that's a great way to put it. I think positive wise, the game has the best transmog system for your equipment I've ever seen in a game.
That's good.
You are just at any time, anything you've ever unlocked, you can look like anything you've ever found. Change your vests and I just think that's really smart. And
It's something. It's funny because like I was playing the game, and you had mentioned like, let's show me your screenshot of your character, and my guy looked ridiculous, just goofy clothes, left, right, and center. But then like I unlocked some cosmetic stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I want to look kind of cool, or I want to look like a knight, because they have a
That's
pseudo
exactly
armor.
what I look like.
And
I'm a knight.
now I can just have fun with it, and I don't have to look goofy, which is the exact opposite problem, or the exact opposite of like Cyberpunk 2077, where
yeah,
because there was no transmog system, your character always looked stupid,
so
and
stupid.
you
Yeah.
never looked not stupid. And it's like I want to look cool. I'm a
Yeah.
cyberpunky person. I want to look cool, but you always look stupid. This completely solves that problem.
Yeah, and I think it's really strong, especially because of the collectathon, the field guide system where you're constantly finding pages and unlocking things. That's your reward is cosmetic.
Yeah.
And I think like that's very satisfying to have that. And the collectathon nature of it, I think, is the strongest weird part of the game. Is like finding the pages is fun to like
Yeah.
explore Hogwarts. Be like, oh, this is a hidden room where this collection is going to tell me about butterbeer or whatever. I think that's a fun part of the game.
Right.
It's that tour system you were talking about, the tour of Hogwarts, rather than
Yeah.
a game in Hogwarts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it to me, my other major problem with this, other than being led on, is that like it feels like this game has a lot of bloat. It feels like
Mhm.
this game had a lot of really standard third person open world games in it. Like going back to the stealth section, like we didn't need stealth combat in a Harry Potter game. That's
No.
just not necessary. Like you don't need a backstab kill. It's funny, and I laugh at what happened, but like I will not use that, and that doesn't even feel in line with Harry Potter. And kind of like we were talking about, of like you need to have a broom to fly around, and there's a fast travel system too. It's like there's a lot of different ways to just do it. And
Yeah.
instead of having a singular vision of like, here's exactly what we're going to do with this tour, it's like, no, we have to make this giant open world game. So we need to have a big open world with enemy encampments for you to
Yeah.
pick off one by one, like a Far Cry. It's like, that's not Harry Potter. Um, so on the one hand, there's all these interesting things you can do, but also it's like, did any of this really need to be here? Did we need to have this antagonist who's like slowly invading the highlands around Hogwarts that I need to go and take out his goblin camps one by one? Probably not. No.
No.
This could have been just a mystery of ancient magic and I would have been totally fine with it.
Yeah. It's definitely the game that was made by committee of making a open world Harry Potter game,
Right.
and you feel that, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. Like if you love Harry Potter, like if this was a Star Wars game, I would be loving it because you do feel like you're at Hogwarts.
Mhm.
Like it nails that so much. Like that's what keeps me playing it. Even though like I'm not having fun with a lot of the activities.
I know we should mention the castle itself is beautiful and like fully
Amazing.
realized. Like you can just run from classroom through the hallways, through the Great Hall, over to another classroom, and it feels like you are running
It's
through the castle.
it's all there. I mean, every classroom, every hallway, every little thing that Harry and Ron and Hermione do, like it's all there.
Also, it is made with Portkey Games or Portkey, whatever
Mhm.
overarching company technically owns like the
Yeah, Wizarding
licensing for the
World.
Wizarding
Yeah.
World. So like the classrooms look like the classrooms from the movie. Like there's a
Yeah.
continuity
Yeah.
there. This is not like someone's interpretation of Hogwarts. This is the same Hogwarts you've seen from movies and I don't know if they do comic books, but like from that world, and that is very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Great Hall, entering the Great Hall for the first time, you're like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is so cool. Yeah. So I really do appreciate that aspect of the game. I think I mean, nailed the aesthetics of it.
Mhm.
It's just
How
what's inside the world.
so
Yeah, James?
speaking of the world and the aesthetics, how has the game itself been functioning for you guys?
Oh, I've had
Performance wise.
really zero issues. A few like someone's cape or their cloak will be like stuck up in the air,
Yeah.
and like the whole
Oh,
conversation, the cloak is like moving behind them, like but it's like whatever. Like the game's not crashing or
Mhm.
any
okay.
audio bugs. So that's like really only is like some visual stuff.
I had
Oh, sorry, James, go ahead.
no, you go, go, go. Yeah.
I had a lot of lighting issues. You have to manually
Same.
turn Yeah, you have to manually turn on kind of the next generation lighting stuff,
Mhm.
HDR and all that stuff. So I had to
Mm-hmm.
manually turn that on and download it. Excuse me. I had a lot of problems earlier on, just with characters lighting, like some shading would look really weird on characters' faces, but then also
So when
like
they start talking, it gets dark, right, Ted?
yeah,
When they
so
start
there's
talking, there all the shadows just drop. Yeah.
yeah, and there's a lot of there was, I should say, a lot of transition problems where if you run from outside to inside, the game goes from like very bright to pitch black, and it adjusts almost like your phone camera does, where it's like, oh, we need to change, and then you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now we're
Yeah.
on night mode. There was a patch yesterday that seems to have fixed almost all of that. I was
Hmm.
playing it, or maybe it was Saturday. It was a few days ago. That seems to have fixed almost all those issues, but nothing that hampered my gameplay.
Okay. I
When
never
you're
had
playing on
any of those
Xbox, Ted?
issues.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we're all playing on different because I'm playing on PC. But
Yeah.
the only issue I had was in Hogsmeade Revelio, and I have the extended Revelio, and sometimes when I'd cast it, it
Mhm.
just really slowed down my game. But then if I
Mm.
cast it again, it just works fine.
Oh,
So I don't know if it's
That's
like
so
it's just
weird.
loading in chunks and then not loading. I don't know. It's a weird issue now. It hasn't been resolved, so I have to like cast Revelio twice to like not lag for some reason.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but so when you start the game, does it preload your shaders? Do you have to wait to load your shaders? Is that
Uh,
a
No, I
thing
think
for you
it's
guys?
already
so
loaded in.
I played the first 4 hours, which on basically like PS4, Xbox One stats, and then for Xbox you had to manually go in there and add in like shaders and stuff. So there was a
Interesting.
second install
Oh,
period
weird.
for me where I had to
Okay.
install the like next generation patch manually. But
Huh.
after that, I was fine.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's strange. Yeah, PlayStation 5, you don't have to do any of that. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So I think that's pretty impressive though for this scale of game to have like such
Mhm.
minor issues. So that's like another hats off kind of
Mhm.
thing. Like
Oh,
definitely
Yeah.
many delays, but the
Mhm.
right amount of delays for not having a buggy RPG.
Yeah. Ultimately, I really like it. There are some little things like I don't think stealth needs to be in there, kind of nitpicky stuff.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of wished, and maybe this will happen much later in the game, but I kind of wished, like a Just Cause, like this game would just be like, all right, you have a giant arsenal of spells,
Just cause.
just goof off,
Yeah, I
just
kind of want to
find
just
like,
go off with the kill curse.
yeah, or just like find ways to goof around with this game, like transfigure the wall behind a person into a trampoline and then throw them into it so they bounce back and just just really kind of goofy, silly stuff, kind of like I said, a Just Cause.
Yeah.
And it isn't quite that, but I feel like it pointed in that direction. So I'm like, okay, you did it. But I was hoping for,
Like a half step.
yeah, I was just,
Well,
Harry Potter's all these fun spells. Like let's just like I want to be able to make a port key and then throw it at somebody and then they get hit by it and teleport away. Just
They just
little like
teleport away.
yeah, just like little goofy things like that. I was kind of hoping for more of a sandbox, but unfortunately it's not. But what they have, I think I still really like.
so
I would agree.
they have the sandbox. They have the world. It's
Mhm.
there. It's great. It works functionally. They can add more to it. But I guess I'll bring this up now. They
Yeah.
announced a couple days ago that they have no plans for DLC at all.
I don't know.
And that to me is a crime for like what they have built with this game. There should be DLC for this game.
I don't.
There should be Quidditch.
Yeah,
there should be-
there won't be Quidditch.
I know.
There won't be Quidditch.
Quidditch is
But
going to be
I
its
feel like there
own
should be
yearly
some
release sports
DLC
game.
missions. Like how do you not have
Dude.
DLC for this game? I could see them doing another game. That'd be fine. Maybe that's what
I
they
think
meant by
that's
no
what you
DLC.
get.
Just
I
make
think
a new
that's what
game.
you would get over
Get Destiny 2.
DLC. Yeah, you get Hogwarts
Um,
Legacy 2 because they already have the whole world built and you just add new locations.
Yeah, so maybe it's just
Yeah.
not worth.
Yeah, there could be a lot of reasons why they said that, and for all we know, that's not necessarily true. Because like, does that mean like no more cosmetics? Like they're not going to have?
They just said they have nothing planned. So of course that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
once they sell a bajillion of this game, they're going to make DLC
Yeah.
for it and charge
Yeah.
30
Yeah.
bucks a piece. Yeah. What do you think of the story that you're in, this ancient magic? Does it compel you at all to keep going the story missions? Like, are you interested in this ancient magic mystery that you're on with Professor Fig? Like, do you care about this thing?
I could care less about Professor Fig and the Ancient Magic.
Alright.
I care more about Sebastian and his sister. Get me that storyline.
I
I
don't.
agree.
I don't
Yeah.
hate it. I feel like it's right in line with kind of a Harry Potter narrative.
Yeah.
I think I've gotten to a point where the steam is running out. Without spoiling anything, it's kind of just like, okay, this is the thing now.
Yeah.
That I don't hate it at all, and I think some kind of overarching mystery is kind of key to a Harry Potter at Hogwarts type of story.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess I wish it was just more. I don't know. I just don't love the mystery itself, but that's okay. I just
Yeah.
don't. I hate the ancient magic thing. That's just like there's a new thing in this world that you can do, and no one really else can. You're like, all right.
Yeah.
It does to really nitpick it. It does feel a little bit lazy, but I think they needed something, and this is a very
Yeah,
safe
absolutely.
way to get around. Because right, like anybody who's read Harry Potter or has seen the movies is asking those kinds of questions of like, why don't they just do this with this? You know, like
Mhm.
why don't they just add
Well,
that right now when they
actually-
could have? Like, why'd the Eagles have to fly to Mordor? Like that just happened, so they needed kind of a very lowest common denominator way to get a mystery.
Going, yeah.
And again, this kind of has to be for all ages, so it can't just be like there was a murder.
I
Dude,
don't
that'd
get
be
that because
so
you're
cool.
killing. You're
there was a
killing
murder
everyone.
in the common room, and you have to figure out who did it. Like it's
Dude, James,
That'd
you're
be
so
so
right.
cool.
You murder everyone you fight.
You
in this game.
kill
They, like,
everyone.
They incinerate.
Yes.
it is
My
hilarious to me
absolute
that you first like there is a killing curse that you get later in the game that is
I can't wait.
In lore is the most evil
Yeah.
thing that you can do as a wizard. But also you can throw a goblin off a cliff and
You-
it's not,
you-
and it's
you can
fine.
You smite a goblin with your ancient
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
You fucking.
I set a spider on fire and then grabbed its fang and then threw it at a human being and it stuck him to a wall.
Yeah.
This is not for
That's
kids.
not murder. That's fine. I'm a 16-year-old
So-
and that's fine.
My favorite part of this entire game is the side quest stuff. Because I find like Harry Potter, I enjoy, but I'm not like the biggest Harry Potter fan in the world, kind of thing. So it's
You
always
married the
kind of
biggest
goofy.
Harry
Yeah, Maddie really likes Harry Potter, but she actually was like, "Wow, the game looks great." And she was like, "I might even play." And I was like, "Really?" She goes, "Well, no, but like it was in my head." But so my favorite thing though is like you go in these side quests and you're wandering around the woods around Hogwarts and like these little settlements, and you'll come across a person and this like older, like middle-aged, like 35, 40-year-old man is like, "Hey kid, like my brother's missing. Can you go find my brother?" Like 15-year-old kid, like, "Can you go out in the dangers of this world and find my brother? Because me, a fully capable man, I can't do it. But you're a 15-year-old from Hogwarts, so if you want to go fight these like poachers and save my dog, please do." And you're like, what an absurd concept that these people would be asking this young child to do all of this.
Yeah. And again, that goes down to that like open world game by committee of like this is
Yeah.
kind of how you just fill a world
Yep.
without thinking about like the ramifications that you're like a high school student in a lot of these
Yeah.
cases. You know, it's not like The Witcher where like you're supposed to be the monster killing badass. Like you're just
Yeah.
You're just a
Yeah.
kid.
kind of
It's just a kid.
gonna have to just roll with
It
the
just
punches
is what
on
it
that
is,
one.
but it makes me laugh so much when like they like ask you these things and you're like, do you not know like I'm 15?
Hey, can you help me?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, like,
pretty silly. But that's just kind of how
That's
it
fine.
is.
I just think it's just
Yeah.
it is. It's just open worldiness of this situation is just it's like, in Pokemon, the fact that you're supposed to be like a 10-year-old boy that goes out on his own
And
So I
fight
on
have
this
a-
crazy mission.
and
I have a
duels
question.
people.
This is a
Yes.
WB Games game, right? But
Yeah.
they couldn't get any of the original music at all. Like it's all like Harry Potter style, but it's not none of the original like movie music at all.
Yeah.
I'm guessing, completely speculating, that the licensing around this kind of media is just a nightmare of like the movie people are like
It's WB.
But it's not just owned by WB. It's like the movie studios that made them. WB is not just one entity in and of itself. Like there's
Yeah,
they
or
have,
does
they have a
John
s-
does John Williams get credit?
That's
like,
what
you
I
have to
was
pay
wondering.
John
Like
Williams?
they do not want to
Yeah,
pay
like,
John Williams.
this is like the beginning of this game has like 4 different logos of like the publisher, the people who made it, the overarching company that technically owns Harry Potter, the style, not the content,
Yeah.
just the look. Like there's a lot.
Mhm.
I'm sure they had to pick and choose their battles here.
It's a disappointment, but I mean the music's not too bad. Like it's in the
I think
style
it's
and in the
pretty good.
spirit.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
it's
think it's-
close enough.
It
Yeah.
sold me. Like I feel like I'm
But
in
it's
Harry
not
Potter,
nostalgia.
and that's no. But it sold me on feeling like I was in Harry Potter world,
Mhm.
Hogwarts world. Do you guys
Universal
know?
Studios.
Do you guys know what they're calling Harry Potter world? If Harry Potter's kind of no longer in it.
I think they're trying to now start calling it Hogwarts related stuff. But every so
Okay.
far that it's always been that's why it's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So they're trying to call it like
Yes.
the Wizarding World probably.
Okay.
Or Wizarding World.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
they're trying to make like Hogwarts a brand of its own now because
Yeah.
you can't
They
call
should.
this Harry Potter legacy.
Right, because this game also, I think they do a very fun thing where they reference the outside Wizarding world a lot. They
Yeah.
like I think I've heard of 2, maybe even 3 other Wizarding schools that aren't mentioned in the books that are just like, oh, there's one in Africa, and you're like,
In the game, yeah.
That's
That's what I
kinda
was like.
cool.
I like
Cool.
that. I like
Yeah, so,
when
like-
you hear about the other schools.
yeah. I think a lot of their attempts to flush out the Wizarding world, as we'll call it, land, and I think it's really interesting, and it makes me excited for if they want to make another game, maybe not at Hogwarts, just a Wizarding game. Like they have a great magic
Yeah.
system. Like make me a detective, an aura or whatever it's called. Like
Or
yeah, that sounds great. Like I'd take it.
That sounds
so
sick, actually. I'd play that.
yeah, so I
Ah.
think that this game has nailed down a framework in a really good way. And even though it's kind of clunky, and even though it's a very much an open world RPG, and that comes with its baggage,
a
I
good
think they
start.
did a really good job. They did a really good start. But
I
there's
do
no
too. I think we've been a lot-
Quidditch, so 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Quidditch canceled?
I think like we were kind of more negative skewed in this kind of discussion, but I think what this game nails, it nails very well. But just knowing that it's not going to be a deep open world RPG kind of like game, that it is very surface level, would probably ease your
Uh,
dismay.
yeah, like it's not for adults. It's not a thinker. You know what I mean? Like
No,
it's a very, like you said, very surface level. And that's all you're gonna get, which I think is what a lot of people honestly want. But
yes,
I
I
can
think so
totally
too.
understand, like if you're coming off of The Witcher with these deep moral quandaries and really interesting side quests where you have to think about both sides. This is not that.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're the
Jake,
good
you
guy.
play
You're gonna play a lot more of this game?
I'm going to yes. Like I said, I think I've hit the threshold where I now understand the loop, and I'm gonna keep playing that loop. And we will see how long my attention lasts, I think.
Yeah.
Because I do really like the combat and the room of requirement and that kind of loop. And I'm willing to go through these like main quests, just walk here and talk, and then walk here and talk. Like I'm willing to do that because I enjoy Hogwarts the castle. Um, so we'll see how it goes. I intend to be as evil as I possibly can. I would like to murder. I would like to become the
you're
Dark
already
Lord.
there.
That being said, all of the dialogue in this game so far about being evil has just been like bullying first years. Like that's all. Like because we talked about it when we played Mass Effect of like I wanted to be the evilest person because I think it's really interesting to write evil dialogue.
Yeah.
And in this game has those same qualms too, but like a lot of the side quests you can choose to say mean things. And all it does is you're just mean.
Just a dick.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, these other Ravenclaw boys are calling me by a mean name." And you're like, "That's pretty funny actually." And he's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, that hurts." Yeah, yeah, and you're just like, "I'm just being a bully. Like I want to be the Dark Lord. I
yeah.
don't just want to be like the school bully. This kind of sucks." But
They don't tell you that's how Voldemort was at Hogwarts before he like went on his
yeah,
killing spree. He was just
yeah.
really mean to
He
kids.
just took
Yeah.
people's gobstones and didn't give them back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I just have gobstones in my inventory forever because I refuse to give them back to a first-year Hufflepuff.
That's so funny.
So have we gotten any of the dark spells, or have you, Jake? Besides
No.
like the first like Confringo or like Curse
No.
or whatever, but
No, all I have
I'm
is the first
curious. I'm curious how they do it. Like, I mean, we haven't gotten there, so I'm curious how they do it. If it's like a professor teaching you, like kind of thing, which would be kind of cool. It'd be kind of in line with the stories. With what's his name teaching Voldemort the dark magic, the potions guy.
Slughorn. Yeah, Slughorn.
Slughorn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if it's a professor. Like,
It's coming from the blind kid, James. That's my thought. It's coming from the blind kid.
I think so too. The
that'd
Slytherin.
be cool.
Ominous is his fucking name. His name is Ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't talked with him too much. Like it just the one time you go to his room, he's like, "What are you doing in my room?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'll be
my family
I'm
room.
with Jake. I think it'll be one of the students.
Dang.
Yeah, but also no Quidditch, which is a real bummer. And they address it, which even is just insult to injury of like Quidditch got canceled this year.
They keep talking
Just
about
right
it.
away.
It's like,
They talk
hey,
about it all
Quidditch
the
got
time.
canceled, but guess what? You can use your broom wherever you want. You can go through these time trials, and so you know what? No safety. Who cares?
Yeah. No safety.
I would love if they made a genuine sports game that was Quidditch. I'm not entirely sure how they would do it, but I think that would be great.
You change the rules a little bit,
Maybe
but
maybe
it
like a
works.
Rocket League, kind of goofy.
Snitch.
It's
Get the snitch out.
It's a sports RPG, and you start at Hogwarts, and you do your 4 seasons at Hogwarts, and then you go pro.
Yeah.
They talk about the pros. They have pros in the shop.
I want
like it's like they have
franchise
the
mode.
shop and everything. Why the fuck don't you have Quidditch?
I'm wondering
Because
if
they couldn't
made...
finish Quidditch, James. They couldn't finish
That's
it.
it.
Couldn't work.
Yeah.
I think that this game had to get scaled back in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Seeing that there's
not even try and go for it. Like they just cut it completely.
I mean, it's
like,
better not to try than to try and fail and to have that show up in a
I
review.
think so too.
Because seeing that stealth tree exist and then clicking on it and being like, there's just 4 options here that adjust your stats. Like there's nothing interesting. I think this game was a lot
Heavily
bigger
scaled.
at one point and they had to back down.
Yeah, definitely.
Which also speaks to how mechanically it's not buggy. Like they scaled things back. And I think they did that intentionally. That being said, I would love to be a coach of a Quidditch team.
There you go.
And just manage trades.
Quidditch manager
Across
2023.
Yeah, that's all I want. I want to be a GM for a professional
Trade
Quidditch
the
team.
Scotland Dragons for the
Yeah, I'm just
amazing.
staring at fucking Quaffle goal rates, just being like, I don't know, mid season he's not good. He drops off.
Yeah, These beaters are not good. They're not good with the bludgers. That'd be amazing. I would love this game so much. James, are you gonna keep playing more of this?
Yeah. I'm gonna try my best to beat it. I mean, I'm hearing
Okay.
it's in the 20 to 30 hour mark in terms of how deep you get into it. So
Yeah.
if I'm already halfway there in terms of time, and I think my quest completion is like 20-something%, so it's it's getting up there for.
I will say, for me personally, I enjoy the collectathon's shitty side quests in that I can very obviously not focus on them and just care about the story and just get through it.
Yeah.
Games like The Witcher, I get so lost in good side quests that I'm like, I forget about the main story, and then I'm like, I'm kind of done playing this, but I'm nowhere near the end.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake? Are you going to finish it?
Oh, probably not.
Yeah.
I just started playing Metroid Prime, and I'm much more interested to play that.
Yep.
And I felt like I've been obligated to play this because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
That being said, like I do like it. Like I actually enjoy my most fun I have with it is the collectathon stuff. I enjoy running around Hogwarts and like using Revelio constantly and being like, "Ooh, what's behind this door?"
I love Revelioing.
Yeah, I love Revelio. James, do
Yeah.
you love that the mechanic for Alohomora is exactly the Batman Arkham unlock system?
So-
Does anyone know this?
I did not.
We
I haven't
didn't-
unlocked Alohomora yet. I'm glad you finally do. Jesus.
I want
Yeah.
to talk about Batman Arkham when we were going to the combat. I completely like forgot. Whereas like some of the slowdown and some of the blocking like really reminds me of like Batman type blocking, and but it's not not exactly the same, but like in the wizard format. And so I was like, I'm wondering how much they borrowed from that. If they had people who were like thinking like, yeah, this is how we do the blocking, this is how we do the counter, this is how we do this certain thing.
I think they
was like,
probably
wow.
did.
Yeah.
I think
And the
combat-
jumping.
worked with it.
I
Do
think
you
the
do you
combat
guys
is
have the
really well
teleport?
thought out. I think they probably did take some good influences.
Yeah. Do you have the teleport dodge where you can like, do the little
Yes.
like poof
do
over?
not, no.
I like it's a
That
really
one's
good
really fun.
animation. Yeah.
It's really cool. It looks really good. I never use it correctly, and then I always get surprised that I have it. I'm like, oh shit, that was cool.
Yeah, I always
But,
forget. I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's like the
I
movie.
think I
It's like
will-
it's like the movie combat. They do that in the
It is,
movies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't just like hold a wand at someone, which I appreciate. I think I will play more of it, but I don't think I'll beat it.
Mhm.
I think like throughout the
Okay.
year I'll just progressively play more, because it's a fun world to walk around in. But
Yeah.
we'll
There's
see.
too
I'd be
many
curious.
games coming out.
So many games, and I'd rather play.
There's like 3
stuff
games
that's
this
coming
week.
out.
Like
Yeah,
Like a Dragon. I had to play Like a Dragon.
Yeah, play like a dragon.
And then a Returnal
know.
came out on PC. I kind of want to
You got to play Returnal.
play Returnal.
That's a lot of games. Wait, you
And
can wait on
Last of Us is
Returnal. Wait till Returnal goes on sale.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to play Returnal. Like we can play new games, but
Right away.
it's gonna be stacked. It's always stacked in spring.
It is. And we're like right around the corner from Resident Evil 4 and then Jedi Fallen Order,
Right.
Jedi Survivor. A lot of stuff happening. So,
Too much.
any final Hogwarts thoughts?
No, I think we covered it.
Good game. Recommend it.
It's
I think
a-
definitely give it a try.
I think if you like playing video games, if you're okay with playing video games, you're comfortable already, and you have read the Harry Potter books, it is worth your time to at least try it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like if anybody grew up imagining themselves as a student at Hogwarts, this is worth your time, even if it's kind of a shallow experience from a
Yeah.
gamer perspective, from a gameplay perspective. I think it's absolutely worth it. I would love to see this go on sale or go like on the Switch to more platforms if they can do it. I don't know, but I think it's a good game overall. And if you like Harry Potter, it is absolutely worth your time.
Did we say
James?
that this is eventually coming to Switch?
I think it is.
It is
Okay.
supposedly
It's
coming.
delayed.
It was supposed to launch on Switch, but they delayed Switch to July 23rd or something
Okay.
like that.
Interesting.
And haven't said anything about it. So we're not entirely sure if that's actually a set date.
Okay. Huh.
Okay. I guess we'll see.
I
We'll see.
I could see a world in which it does not come out on Switch.
Yeah, it's tough to cancel something though once you've already
Yeah.
let pre-orders on your console.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah.
we'll see. Yeah. James, any final thoughts? Are you good?
I think I'm good. Yeah. All good.
Me too. Me too. All I have to say is that all roads lead back to Hogsmeade, and you're gonna hear that
They
anytime you go to
fucking
Hogsmeade.
stole that from fucking Witcher. Those bastards.
They did.
Yep.
Oh, see, it feels like all roads lead to Hogsmeade. Also, the guy's voice that you play as is terrible. It's just the most bland British voice. But
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Can I
but
bring
we
up
didn't
one?
even talk about the voice actors.
It is bland, but I just want to laugh. I just have a good laugh with you guys. That this game is very politically correct and socially conscious in a lot of different areas.
Yes.
And to its credit, like I'm not dinging it on anything, but I think
No, I
it's
think
really
it's great.
funny that in the character creator at the beginning, it takes all this time of like it doesn't say anything like you don't pick male or female. All of the hairstyles are the same. All that the voices are just voice 1, voice 2, and then pitch. It is very ambiguous. And then right at the end, it says, "Are you a witch or a wizard?"
I know.
Just straight up. And it's like, oh,
I'm
okay,
a warlock.
we did so well. And then fucking just
But like you a guy or a girl?
yeah. Are you a guy or a girl?
Then.
Yeah. Whatever.
I want to talk about the voice actors just really, really, really quick at the end.
Yeah.
The groundskeeper, is that the Sorting Hat voice actor?
They
He's like,
sound very
I
similar.
need like that. Like, he has that voice, like, find
Yeah, Professor
me.
Moon or whatever his name is.
Yeah, the groundskeeper Moon or something.
Yeah.
I was like, it doesn't fit his character.
No.
Like that
The voice
voice
acting's
coming out
pretty
of-
bad in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. The voice acting is not the strongest from a game in a long time.
Very fairy tale
Except for
British,
Sebastian.
fairy
That's
tale
my boy.
UK. Because I guess there's Scottish people in there as well, but it's very like just kind of generically fairy tale-y, which I think helps, but also it can get old. Your own character's voice gets old.
Fig
Yeah,
is like
and
permanently like questioned, like what are we doing? Where is this? He's always fucking like permanently like questioned voice. It's just fucking. You're a professor. You should know.
You should know what's happening.
What does
And
this
I know that, like,
mean?
did you try to change the pitch on your voice to see what it sounded like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a modulation system. It's not different voices.
No, it's
So,
not.
like,
It's not
no,
voice
yeah.
acting.
and you can hear the modulation like crackle if you go like lower or higher. It's very weird. I'm like kind of amazed by that.
There were two voice actors, a
A witch or a wizard, Ted.
witch or a wizard, and then they just modulated it from there. Yeah.
Yeah, save money.
Person 1 and person
Save
2, I
money.
think is actually what it's called.
I'm not
Anyway, that's all I
surprised.
want to say about that.
No, I understand. Yeah, like I said, we'll see if I keep playing more of it. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to play on the horizon, but I do think it's got good flat ground, and then everything else around it is what it is. And if you like Harry Potter, you will love this game.
Yeah.
Or at least like this game. That's where
At
I'm
least
at.
like this game.
I like Harry Potter and I like this game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I approve.
I was also very disappointed by the Sorting Hat system that you just
I was
basically pick your house.
I was as
Yeah.
well.
That's very disappointing.
I was
Um,
hoping for a actual kind of quiz system, but I guess if you want to live your Hogwarts fantasy, they don't want to like, oh, you picked Hufflepuff on accident.
But Ted, it literally, after you pick which one you want to be, then it goes, are you sure you want to be that house?
Right.
So
Yeah,
let
I
me
didn't
do a
like
whole
that.
quiz and then go, you got Gryffindor. Do you want to be a Gryffindor or do you want to choose?
Yeah,
Yeah. Put the
100%.
Pottermore quiz in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I should have done the Pottermore. I wasn't. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. And you can link your Pottermore account to this game and have all that stuff
Right.
flow into it, but it just should have been in there.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you so much for watching the 124th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. Ted has disappeared, and we will see you next
I've
week.
apparated.
Casted
Ooh,
the
do, do,
disillusionment spell.
Exactly.
Oh, we're copyrighted now.